What's good, guys? Film coming at you with another movie review, and this time we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's been long enough. It's breaking records. Already made $1 billion, which is nuts. I think it's at 1.1. Either way, I'm going to be doing spoilers for this video. So if you guys don't want to hear any spoilers, make sure to click this video later. After you go watch the movie, after you go check it out, after you go see it with your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever you want to say. Watch this movie after. But either way, let's get into it. Off the bat, I just want to say this. This movie is probably the greatest live action Spider Man movie of all time. I'm being for real. I was unbelievably impressed with Spider Man Brand New Day. I know everybody, you know, it's doing good no matter what, but everybody always has their complaints. And we'll probably go over them through this review. But I just got to give this movie so much praise. And it just starts off with us getting back into the world of Tom Holland Spider-Man. We all know how it ended in No Way Home. He's on his own. He lost his friends. He sacrificed everybody knowing him just to be able to, well, not everybody knowing him, but yes, he did. He sacrificed everybody knowing him just to become a pure Spider-Man. And what I mean by that is he literally is fully by himself. And it sucked to watch, but that is kind of how Spider-Man is in the comics. That's how he is going forward. And it was nuts that we start out with the most saddest part of him reading his letter and then finding out that he's just trying to keep his friends safe and he's just doing pure Spider-Man stuff. Like, it's sad, but then right when you get into the movie, right when you see him doing Spider-Man stuff, the whole montage starts and it was nuts. I literally was at the edge of my seat going like, why is this awesome? Like, I'm trying to think of other movies where it starts with a montage of him saving people. Like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 pops in my head with Andrew Spider-Man starting off with him diving down into New York and then having the coolest opening swinging scene probably of all the Spider-Men. But this one, in my opinion, might beat it, only because we're getting a montage of him fighting all these different villains on different buildings, doing this, doing that. And it was awesome to see. But then even seeing the swinging scenes and then it catching us up to the present was so nice. But I just, the reason why I love this movie more than that, because we can talk about all the different action scenes and the different swinging scenes that all these different Spider-Man movies have. But the reason why I love this one the most, and this is coming from an Andrew Garfield fan too, like a huge major Andrew Garfield fan, I felt like this one felt the most human out of them all. Like, the biggest thing that we get from Peter Parker Spider-Man in any of the movies is how much anybody can connect to this dude. Like, everybody can connect to Toby, everybody can connect to Andrew. People were connecting to Tom Spider-Man before this movie came out. But this one, to me, just felt purely relatable. Like, this was the most relatable Spider-Man movie I've ever felt. Like, seeing Peter, like, getting headaches, saving the world, like trying to balance so much different things on top of being Spider-Man and trying to be a normal person. Feels like us trying to, balance a job, trying to balance life with whatever else we're dealing with on the side of that. But it was so relatable, so, like, it sucked to watch because I feel bad for him, but it was just such a nice, like, way to open up to him. We're seeing him also every single second buying flowers to put next to Aunt May's grave, and I'm just like, dang, man. Like, he purely is by himself. A neighbor tries talking to him. He puts his head down because he doesn't want to make connection. I'm just like, dang, man. That's how, like, locked in he is on just keeping anybody away from him. We don't know who that neighbor was, but I mean, I'm hoping it was Gwen Stacy. Now, after some leaks that came out, I kind of doubt it, but it would be awesome if she was Gwen Stacy. I would love for that. But this movie and the side characters, which I think was a pretty interesting part of it too. We had, spoiler alert, we had Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey. We had the Hulk in it. We had Dale Wolf Detective Dale Wolf, we had Ned, we had MJ, we had the Punisher, we had all these different side characters in this movie that I believe played enough of a part in it that I'm just like, I love that they were the side characters in this. I love that they were, I don't want to say mentors, but people that were kind of helping Peter realize how alone he really is. Yelena was honestly one of them that I was very surprised by too, because when I was watching this movie, one of the coolest things to me is I got big vibes of a connection to Thunderbolts. And like, it wasn't even just like Peter's mental state that made me start thinking about that through the movie. It was more of just when he finally runs into Yelena. As you guys know, Yelena is the new Black Widow of the Avengers, or the new Avengers, whatever you want to say. And Thunderbolts was a surprise to me. Like, I didn't think I was gonna love that movie as much as I did last year. It was one of my favorite movies of the year, and it surprised the heck out of me. But mainly because of Yelena and the characters. And I felt like Yelena was very connective on what she was dealing with. She was very depressed, felt very lonely, and here we are in Spider-Man: Brand New Day, where she seems like she's in a much better place, but also she's kind of consoling and mentoring Spider-Man in a way. Like, she meets with him and I feel like Loki, she kind of understood what Spider-Man's doing and going through, cuz I mean there was a line in the movie where she's like, "Oh, you sad man," and like, checking up on him a bit, like trying to make sure that he's okay. And then there's another scene later where she's happy to see him with people. And I just felt like that was a smart move by Marvel to include a character like her in this movie, with somebody who is dealing with probably depression too, but loneliness as well, just like her. Would I wanted more scenes with Yelena in it? Maybe. Would I wanted more connections between Spider-Man and Yelena? I don't know. I feel like it was enough for her part in the movie, but I was satisfied with it. And I think both of those points that she was in, I know everybody else is probably going to be like, nah, it was too small, but I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And I thought it was a perfect character to have in this. The Hulk's part in this movie, not as big as I guess people wanted it to be. I was very fine with it. A professor talking with Peter about trying to keep his mutation in check, which we later sadly realize that it isn't really Man Spider. It's a more nerfed version of Man Spider, but I love the way they did it. But him being that connection of trying to keep the monster in, because hey, I mean, it's Bruce Banner. He's trying to keep the Hulk in, while Spider-Man at this point is trying to keep whatever monster, I'm gonna put air quotes there, in him, like locked up, is very good to put in this movie. I think a lot of other people are like, he wasn't used right, he wasn't in this movie enough, but I think that Hulk's part was kind of misunderstood. He was I mean, at this point, Bruce Banner's just teaching at Empire State University, and his whole point is he's just trying to teach. He's trying to chill. He's trying to lay low. And when he runs into Peter, when they're exchanging ideas on how to, you know, calm down that monster inside of him, it's just so great and so like symbolic that a person like that who's an expert on trying to keep a monster down in him is trying to teach Peter how to do that. And also he's a little worried too, because I love how he's asking him, well, what are you trying to keep down? What's the worry there? And I just like how there was that connection there. But the biggest thing is, I mean, the Hulk fighting Spider-Man was awesome. That whole fight sequence inside the Department of Damage Control's building was nuts. And I was just unbelievably impressed and very, I'm surprised nobody else is talking about it, but the Hulk remembers, at least Savage Hulk does. Savage Hulk remembers Peter Parker as Spider-Man, or just Peter Parker. Because right when they're fighting, and right when Peter says it's Peter, before it seems like the Hulk is just gonna smash his head open, the Hulk stops what he's doing and literally realizes it's Peter. And I'm like, what? So you telling me Doctor Strange's spell didn't work on Hulk? Savage Hulk? We need to investigate that more. We really do, because watching the movie for a second time, even the first time when I saw him stop, I was like, why did he stop? And I had to watch it again, going like, Savage Hulk remembers Peter Parker as Spider Man. That's awesome. I need, and I'm gonna get into it later, but I really need Spider-Man 5 to be greenlit as soon as possible because I can't wait another 5 years to see Tom, Zendaya, all of them again. I can't. I will barely hold on for 3. I need it greenlit now. So whatever you got planned, I know it's not coming in the next 2 years. I know 3, maybe not, but it's gonna be a tough 3 or 4 years. And if it's 5 or 6 years, I'm about to be in a dark place, a very dark place waiting for Spider Man 5. But either way, I'm glad that I can keep going back to Spider Man Brand New Day because it was just very good, bro. Like I know I didn't mention the big thing as Sadie Sinks Jean Grey. I thought that she was a very good addition to this too. I was very I think she was one of my favorite parts of this movie besides Spider-Man. Like Tom Holland Spider-Man was the GOAT in this movie, but Sadie Sinks Jean Grey was very good. I'm talking about all these other characters that can relate to Spider-Man. You have I'm gonna get to Ned and MJ in a sec, but you have the Hulk, you have Yelena, you have the Punisher too, who was also relating to Spider-Man, which I thought was really good. I feel like all these different people. Before I mentioned Jean Grey, you have the Hulk, you have Yelena, you have the Punisher. All of these characters are established at the start, and definitely are certain characters that deal with their own loneliness in different ways. And the fact that they're mentoring or trying to help Peter slash Spider Man in their own ways was I thought it was a really good combination because I feel like that's hard to do. When these castings were coming out and you hear that these people are in Spider-Man Brand New Day, or at least I did, I was thinking, what is the connection they're going for? It's how to deal with loneliness. It's how to deal with, doing things on your own. And these characters are used to it, but I don't think like Spider-Man is used to that. And I feel like that's a good way to go about this movie on bringing characters in who are total loners and trying to help Spider-Man realize he shouldn't be like them, or he should look for different ways to deal with his loneliness. And I thought that was nice. So you get, flash forward, you get Jean Grey in this movie, and it's not, this is another person who is just like Spider-Man, except this is a person who is just like Spider-Man in the way where they are also starting to figure out their type of loneliness, or that they're alone in this world. And I thought that was very good, of another addition to this story, because Jean Grey, kind of villain, I feel like she was more of an antagonist in this movie, but she's trying to figure out what the heck happened to her sister. And she believes that she is still out there, but at that point, she is on her own. And there's a scene in this movie where I just went, holy crap. This, actually, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that made me go, holy crap. But I'm more speaking on the heartwarming part for this part. Spoiler alert, Jean finds out that her sister was murdered by the Department of Damage Control. And it's one of the saddest realizations, in my opinion, in the MCU. I know there's a lot of sad realizations that happened. Like I still remember Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when you find out that Peter's dad killed Stinkin', and the fact that Peter Parker, never mind. The fact that when you find out that Peter's dad killed his mom because of cancer slowly, it sucked. That was a gut wrenching scene. But when you find out that the VMAX that they kept talking about in this movie over and over again, you're thinking it's some type of code word, some type of mutant, some type of, maybe it's the Venom symbiote. No. When Jean looks up, sees the words VMAX with tape over it called Ventmax, that's when she realized the last thing that her sister saw was the room that she was trapped in. And it just sucks. Like, instantly, she realizes she is all alone. She has no sister anymore, no family, pretty much. And her powers go haywire, which I thought was a really cool scene. But the thing that I loved is Spider-Man was there for her. Another person dealing with loneliness as they're starting to realize they're alone. And I just loved how Tom Spider-Man let her into his mind to speak to his Aunt May. And for that scene, for her to realize not just that Peter, isn't as bad as she thought he was, and that he was going through the same stuff she was. He lost somebody important to him just like she lost somebody important to her. It was so heartwarming, and to see them in that same memory sitting on that bed just having that conversation of like, yo, I'm sorry about your Aunt May. I'm sorry about your sister. I wish I could have met her. It was just so heartwarming. It felt like such a pure Spider-Man scene from a comic strip. I don't know if that really is a comic strip, but if it is, that's awesome. If it isn't, I still love that was in this movie. And it just spoke to me in volumes because there's so many times like we all, even today, when I feel like both of these characters, I can't confirm it at all on Jean's part, but I can confirm it on Peter's part. I feel like Peter's like a 24 to 27-year-old, I think, and he is purely all about work. He's purely all about his job. I feel like a lot of people today are just purely about trying to survive, trying to protect the people they love, or trying to nurture the people they love by working nonstop, trying to make sure everybody's okay. But there's a lot of sacrifices they have to make. And just seeing that type of vibe in a superhero with Spider-Man this time around was just nuts. I know when Spider-Man 2 would happen, I know hopefully they were trying to do that with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but I feel like it was done so well in Brand New Day. And I just connected with it fully because, I mean, I work, I do this, I do that, but I'm always so like enveloped or like entranced in the work, trying to make sure I'm like locked in, trying to make sure I'm good. That there's a lot of times I make sacrifices. There's a lot of times I miss out on some events or something, like hanging out with some friends because I'm just trying to, survive, make some money. But this movie is a good reminder to me that you should definitely make time for the people who care about you. You should definitely make time for the friends you have, for the people around you, because I mean, you never know. I mean, I hope there's never going to be a spell that's casted that makes everybody forget who I am at the current position I'm in. But it's just such a good reminder to just be like, yo, like at least once a week or something like that. If you're working nonstop, take a break, relax, go hang out with your friends, family, loved ones, whatever. Like, just take a break from work. And I like that. Um, I know I've been talking about the heartwarming part of Spider-Man. It's just that that felt like the most like really well done and really out there piece of the movie. But I kind of do want to get into the fight scenes. I kind of do because I really want to talk about the jail fight scene. I really want to talk about the Hand versus Spider-Man. I thought that was probably one of the most well shot fight scenes in MCU history. I thought it was very well done. I thought the stunts were incredible. I thought the way the hand was moving was incredible as well. And I don't even know why I'm surprised because this is the same dude who made Shang-Chi. This is the same dude who made Wonder Man. And I know Wonder Man, it wasn't known for its fights. It was way more known for the really good story that was told. But I thought it was very well shot, and I thought Shang-Chi was still also a very well shot movie. And the fight scenes that happen in Shang-Chi are really well done, really executed so well and look phenomenal. But the fact that we got both the fights, the fight choreography of Shang-Chi and the heartwarming story from Wonder Man all put together for Spider-Man Brand New Day is incredible. And I know it's not just Destin Daniel Cretton doing all this. Like, whoever was in the writer's room, congratulations. And also, good job. Whoever was working on fight choreography, you deserve a raise. Whoever were the side characters, including, I forgot his name. I think it was like Naive, the dude who was speaking with Spider-Man in the middle of the movie when Spider-Man was having problems trying to sense Jean Grey's presence. Awesome job to you. But overall, this whole movie, from like from the bottom to the top was unbelievably good. Um I think I didn't get to talk about Ned and MJ real quick and their dynamic in this movie. That might have been, I mean, easily everybody knew it was going to be tough watching those scenes, especially when it came up in the trailers, that those two were still around close by and living in the area close to Peter. I mean, I know it took him a subway to get there, but technically they're still close if he has to take a subway. But um, all of the scenes with them interacting in some way and also interacting in, hey, this is the first time I'm meeting this guy, was gut wrenching in a way. Not as gut wrenching. I'm not gonna put it up there as, finding out Peter Quill's dad killed his mom, but more of like, dang, these were his best friends, like the only friends he pretty much had that really knew him. And it's like we're starting back at square one with Peter, with these guys. And it hurts. It was still heartwarming to see that they were very welcoming of him when he came back, but it's just like, crap, man. These were your friends, your best of friends, and you can't share in anything they're doing right now. Like, there's not that connection yet. Later on, there was something that happened um that I was like, what the heck? That is messed up, Gene. Why? Like, that's evil, but later it made up for that with MJ finding the letter Peter was gonna say to her in the coffee shop at the end of No Way Home. Like, I know that scene was pretty tough because she had no memories of him and all that, but when he's taking her back to the apartment and when he's thinking, okay, no, I gotta really leave them alone forever again. When she invites him up to the apartment, I am so happy for him. He gets to see Ned again. He gets to chill out. I mean, yeah, he's Spider-Man at that point, but behind that mask, it's Peter, super joyful, realizing that he can experience that happiness he felt a long time ago. I want to say 5 years ago, which I was happy for him for. I was just very happy for Peter. I was like, you needed that, man, after this whole movie. But one interesting thing happened that makes me think they are slowly getting their memories back. In that same scene, MJ was drawing, like, you know how in the Spider-Man Homecoming to No Way Home movies, or actually it was mainly in Homecoming this was mentioned, but she was a huge fan of drawing people in crisis, as you would say, pretty much just drawing them in the moment. And she happens to start drawing Ned and Peter just playing with Legos in the apartment, chilling out, being best of friends. So when we get to see the picture she drew, I find it very funny and very interesting that the suit she draws Peter in is the suit he wore in Homecoming. That's what makes me think she's starting to remember who he is. She's starting to remember that he is the Peter that she knew from a long time ago. And if that's the case, I'm still wondering how to feel about it because I kind of do like the idea that they are getting to know this version of Peter and that it's going to be a whole new relationship. But I kind of wanted it to go to now new side characters like bring in Gwen Stacy, bring in Harry Osborn, bring in Betty Brant, what or like an older version of Betty Brant, bring in all these different other characters that are so cool. Brock, I don't know, like just bring in others and then have the MJ and Ned be incorporated into that group. But I'm curious to see what they're doing for the future of Spider-Man. I'm curious. Um, I I don't know. I'm just very impressed with this movie. I'm very impressed. I think I'm still wrestling with, do I put it over Project Hail Mary, The Odyssey. I'm still iffy on it. I kind of want to, but I love Spider-Man, so I don't want this to be a Spider-Man bias type thing. I really want this to be a pure, like, is this movie just a very good movie? And that's another thing with Project Hail Mary. I feel like I felt so that heartwarming type of feeling that I felt with Spider-Man Brand New Day with Project Hail Mary because of the whole Rocky relationship that I thought was super funny, but it made me connect with a rock, and it was a stinking rock, which I thought was funny and cool and genuine. But with Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's just there was so much going on a personal level that with all these different side characters that were relating to or and helping Peter Parker slash Spider-Man in ways that he needed that made me go, okay, this movie is for me. Like, and that's another thing. You know what? I almost forgot to mention this. The number one scene that I loved in this movie, and it wasn't a fighting scene, it wasn't a scene at the beginning. It was a scene where Spider-Man almost dies. Now I know you are thinking, you're like, I thought you said you like Spider-Man. No, look, hear me out on this. Spider-Man almost dies, but he doesn't. Almost dies from a bullet from the Punisher. And the reason why I love this scene so much is because the scene that follows it is Peter wakes up in the hotel, I mean, the hospital, and he's greeted. Well, first off, Jean Grey is helping with his breathing, which I thought was so awesome. Thank you, Jean. But when he wakes up, the Punisher is there. He's apologizing to him for shooting him. Peter gets worried that everybody knows his identity. Punisher assures him, "No, you're all good," but he has a plan, and it's super funny. But Peter, once he's healed up, walks outside, and while he was in the hospital, like Peter, Spider-Man, whatever you want to say, there were fans of Spider-Man outside in that in the street of the hospital with signs, with costumes, with a whole bunch of red and blue on, waiting for Spider-Man to come out. And Peter walks out there once he's all healed. And as he opens the door, the crowd looks up, goes, "Yo, it's Spider-Man." And you see the Punisher in the same hospital room wearing Peter's gloves and mask and jumping up and down, like, symbolizing, "Oh, I'm okay, look at me." But the whole crowd roars, is screaming, yelling, like, "Yeah, Spider-Man," chanting Spider-Man. And you just see Peter walking through that crowd, seeing everybody like so moved by Spider-Man, so moved by a hero. And it was just so nice to see that because I think that was something that Peter needed. I think he just needed to know how inspirational and how moving he is to the people of New York. And not even just the people in New York, to just people in general. And to put the cherry on top of that scene, I just love the fact that there was a little kid who looked at Peter and did the little Spider-Man like flip from his web shooters thing, and he does it back to him, and Peter's just smiling, appreciating on it. But that was probably my favorite scene of the whole movie because it was just the cherry on top of, you know, even though he's always, working so hard, making sure everybody's safe, taking care of so many people, I don't think at the start he fully realized how, like, inspirational and how much he means to the people of New York. So seeing that scene at the end, it was like, man, it was like a huge thank you. It felt like a huge thank you to the fandom, but also a huge thank you to Spider-Man. And I don't know, that's exactly why I think this is the best live action Spider-Man movie. I keep saying live action because I need to watch the Spider-Verse movies again because I hold those super high. I know it's animated, whatever, but not counting them, this is the best Spider-Man movie of all time in my book. And I know I'm gonna get some angry Toby fans in the comments. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of hey, you're an Andrew fan. Like, what are you doing? But I'm just being real, man. I'm being real. This was incredible. This was unbelievable. And I would love to get you guys' thoughts because I would love to hear from people who've read the comics, people who love Spider-Man, people who even just love heroes. Like what you thought of this movie. Was this one of the greatest superhero movies of all time? Was it one of the most overrated? Was this a good Spider-Man movie, or was it like, they missed the whole point? I want to hear it, and I want to hear your thoughts. And just let me know down below in the comments. And make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Film Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure that bell as well. But before I do go, I'm giving this a high 9 out of 10. Very high, like a 9.8, 9.7. Close to a 10. I'm gonna watch it again. I know I've watched it twice, but this is one of those movies I gotta watch 3 times. It just is. And man, even thinking about this movie again after I'm talking about it, I'm just like, holy crap, this is just, man, this is such a good movie. But anyways, make sure to stay safe, take it easy, and peace, y'all.